Alright, so this one is freaking crazy because, oh man, this one scared the crap. And like, I felt pain, dude. I felt it on my neck. So, there's this Lord of the Rings dream where it was like this sandy mountain. Like, I was on this mountain. Like, it felt like I was like the Albuquerque residence. It was like this sandy mountain, like that tall. And it was weird because I was on this ledge of a mountain. Like, there's this trail on the top, right? But I'm on like the outside. So, like, this hidden trail path that's on the outside. And it's on the ledge of the mountain. And it's all sand. It's like the sandy mountain where you can just easily, do this and then sand, like you're already digging. And I was on the bottom, and I did like this Lord of the Ring moment where I had to cover myself like, Frodo and Sam with the rock, or like hiding on that ledge between that Knight Rider and that stuff. And like, anyways, I had to dig a sand spot on the outside, and I had to hide underneath this little hole that's actually, it could collapse if because like orcs, like the line of army of orcs are passing by, like that stuff. And then, like, they're, like, one of them standing on top of the ledge of the trail and standing right above where I'm at. And I'm like, bro, I'm on fucking sand, dude. And I can feel my neck getting crushed as I'm trying to hide in this small hole in this shit that I just dug. And, I could just feel every tension. I'm like, bro, I'm going to die, dude, either way and that stuff. And it's weird. I don't know why I felt like that in my dream. Or, in real life. But I felt the pressure on my neck. I think it's because I was, like, slouching or something. But yeah, dude, it was weird. And then after that happened and that stuff, I had this like crazy freaking what happened after that? Yeah, so after that part and that's after like the soldiers like moved away and that stuff, and then like I ran from the outside, plays that Lord of the Rings like, oh, you got away music, like no, that was a close one. But I ended up in a haunted house. Like a little Luigi haunted house, it felt like, and there's like 2 stories. It felt like that RuneScape haunted house with the Dracula in the basement, but it was more like the first story and the second story. And it was weird is that Sid Vicious was in the room too, where he was like 19 or something like that. And it was weird because he like just woke up from like a coma and like a bed and that stuff, and like somehow we get locked in the rooms, we have to escape, and there's like other people that join, but then their bodies get like electrocuted, and like the house takes their souls and that stuff, and we have to survive or something like that. And it's like Mario Party or something like that, and you have to like roll dice, and you have to go upstairs, repair generators, like Dead by Daylight. Well, some people get teleported into other rooms and that stuff. A laundry falls over a door. You have to climb over it. You have to meet other people in the second story. You have to stand on platforms to open doors and that stuff. And it turns out, like, even though this is all like a real haunted house and people are actually dying, you're getting paid to do this stuff. So while you're getting paid to do this stuff, you're making money and that stuff. And it's crazy because like we survived from like 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. all the way to like 6 a.m. And all of a sudden an old lady comes out and says, all right, yeah, you're free to go and that stuff. I was like, what the fuck you mean you're free to go? It's like, you just survived the night. Here's your paycheck. Made like probably $60 or like that. I was like, bruh. And then like I don't know what happened to Vicious because he like disappeared. And I remember I had this. So before I go into like this other part of the dream, I had this weird part where I had like a stepsister or something like that, and I had a dad, and like we had this house, and like we were adopted, and then we had this house, like it was like probably because I was watching like the new Resident Evil TV show. But anyways, in the basement he like collected like all this stuff, or like this stuff like knickknacks and like artificial old stuff, and he had this old evidence on like who the serial killer was and that stuff, and then like cause like and like that stuff, and then we went to this other house. Then we snuck in because it was like where this old person was living. It turns out that was connection to like him being a serial killer. We stopped a serial killer and we caught a serial killer. I remember like my sister was like fighting the person and he had to run off and that stuff. I remember I ran into the car and then I drove out. It was all in dark. It was weird because I remember it was like a dirt gravel road and this weird like second story house. We just came from like the basement or something like that because like the basement had an exit door or something like that. Or like, because it was weird because it was like this dark room where it's kind of like really like piled up. It wasn't like piled up like hoardish, but it was kind of like hoardish. I mean, there was tables there, and there's a shelf and that stuff. There's a bunch of papers and files on the shelves and everywhere. You're like, bro, where's it's all like. But then like there's upstairs more posters and files, and it kind of looked like that scary haunted house in like Colorado Springs, like that the North Pole. If you ever see that haunted house with like that dude puking and like the barrel, and kind of got that vibes and that stuff. And then he ran out. It turns out the guy killed people and he liked to like neuter people. I was like, bro, what the heck, dude? I'm like, it's probably because I slept with like some of those scary stories on. But anyways, I was like, bro, I'm like, and then we ran away and we somehow caught like this killer and that stuff. I forgot what dream how I had that dream, but I remember I had this dream recently, but it was a good dream. But anyways, back to the point, and I'll try to say this real quick because I don't want to run out of time. soon after putting on my work clothes. Oh yeah. So what happened was is that after I get out of the, you know what? I'm gonna end this dream and then I'll come back and we'll explain part 2. Okay? Because this is a whole kind of weird story. All right.